Welcome to the Life Poetic with Thomas Keily, your weekly knowledge drop of word-crafted invocation. This week we're looking at Flowers of Fire by Huang O. You held my lotus blossom in your lips and played with the pistol. We took one piece of magic rhinoceros horn and could not sleep all night long. All night the cock's gorgeous crest stood erect. All night the bee clung trembling to the flower stamens. O my sweet perfume jewel, I will allow only my Lord to possess my sacred lotus pond. And every night you can make blossom in me flowers of fire. Huang O was a Chinese writer. She was born around 1500 and she was the daughter of a high official in the Ming court. Around this time, erotic plays and writing and poetry was sanctioned by the Ming court and the officials, but it was still very much a province of men, and female writers like Huang O were quite rare, particularly in the erotic genre. One of the things to remember about Chinese is that because the Chinese characters have multiple meanings and multiple readings, you can combine them in a way that creates words or creates phrases that are quite poetic. When you translate them into English, they sound quite clunky. So you think about a lot of the martial arts moves like dancing iron tiger or something like that. To us it sounds very clunky and very long, like why would you give that such a long name? But in Chinese, because you can give the multiple readings to these different characters, that breaks down to a three-syllable word and is quite neat and quite poetic. And so you can combine these things in a way that in Chinese would be very parsimonious and quite efficient and quite beautiful in the way these things, there'd be an art itself in the way that these characters are combined to create new words and to create ideas. And so I think you can see here in some of these iconics like the lotus blossom or my sacred lotus pond, these things were perhaps not as clunky as they sound to our ears, are probably quite neat and tidy in the original Chinese. What I quite love about this piece is the lack of any shame that Huang O brings to her description of the love act with her lover. The reference to cunnilingus, which you remember, the theory goes that originated in China because China was the first nation to develop advanced hygiene practices, and so that's where oral sex originated. But she's working this here into a poem, the reference to the magic rhinoceros horn, so taking stimulants to aid in love making, to bring out the pleasure of love making, and these sort of references of the bee clinging, trembling to the flower, so that the power of nature coming through and the power of their love making. There's nothing shy or kind of trying to hide from the pleasure involved in the sexual act. And so I really love the rawness of this, and I love that this comes from 1500 AD in China, and we think about the sexual revolution as being quite a modern thing and quite a Western thing, but these things move in cycles and come and go and can take different forms in different places, which I think is also one of the reasons that we should cherish it and protect it, and the gains that we have achieved in liberating our sexuality from the repressive confines of politics and religion. These things aren't a given. It's not a one-way street. And I love how this reminds us of this. You held my lotus blossom in your lips and played with the pistol. We took one piece of magic rhinoceros horn and could not sleep all night long. All night the cock's gorgeous crest stood erect. All night the bee clung trembling to the flower stamens. O my sweet perfume jewel, I will allow only my Lord to possess my sacred lotus pond. And every night you can make blossom in me flowers of fire. This has been the Life Poetic with Thomas Keily. See you next week.